do. Can you kind of talk us through and explain to people that don't know, what is this technology? What does the AI assistant actually do?
Yeah, sure. So I think fundamentally what Salesforce wants to do, the problem that we want to solve is that between sales and marketing alignment, right? So as a marketer, you're generating so many leads, right? Maybe out of this...
Which is a great problem to have, right? That's a great problem to have, right?
Right. And the issue is that when you hand over these leads, like, irresponsibly to your salespeople like this, without qualifying them, without kind of like sifting through, right? It creates actually a burden on the salespeople, right? They have to reach out to maybe, 100 of these leads, and out of this 100, maybe 80 are not in the buying cycle right now. 80 are not really qualified. They may be students, they may be researchers.
And every minute a sales rep is spending on an unqualified lead, they're not working on a qualified lead and turning that into an opportunity.
Exactly, right? So basically what Salesforce does is that we provide an assistant, right, for every sales rep that says that, hey, let us take the first crack at this bunch of leads, right? Let us do the first outreach to these leads. Like, hey, thanks for meeting us at the event, right? We hope you enjoyed yourself at the booth. Hey, can I send you more information about what we do, right? And you engage this lead in this genuine back and forth conversation, right? The lead replies, yeah, I want to find out more. Tell me more about your pricing. Tell me more about, your case studies.
So let's talk about this back and forth, right? Because that first part sounds a lot like, automation, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like automated, people inquire, boom.
Outreach, sales love, mix max. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of that out there. But now let's talk about, so the back and forth is where the artificial intelligence comes in. So can we hear more about that?
Yeah, sure. So basically when a prospect replies, right, we have this entire engine, right, that's built. So it's not 100% AI, right? Like anyone that tells you that, oh, we built 100% unsupervised AI, I'm going to call bullshit on that.
Yeah, right.
So basically it's a combination of, humans and automation. So basically what we call human assisted AI. Right, so a response comes in, it gets broken down into like many different multiple tasks, right, and it gets routed to a team of operators that we have, right, working around the clock, around world, right, basically, to kind of do very micro tasks like, what's the intent, the sentiment of the email, positive, negative, highlight and annotate any kind of named entities in the email, right, what
keywords,
right, like what classification is this email? Is it a request for more information? Is it not interested? And then basically once all these tasks are done, so like there are maybe like 7 to 14 tasks, right, that can be,
you kind of put them in buckets, right? Like sort of broad areas, broad topics,
yeah. Okay. So, once all these are done by our we call them human operators, right? Then all these comes back to give a composite picture, right? Like what is this email all about, right? And then we select the right, responses that we cleverly personalize using like snippets and merge tags, right? To make it look very personal. And then the response goes out to the prospect. Right. So in that sense, right, when customers ask us like, hey, because you're dealing with prospects, right? Like accuracy is really important, right? I mean, if you've dealt with chatbots, right? The worst thing that can happen is, oh, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you say. Right. We can't do that here. Right. Exactly. So accuracy is really important, right?
Because these days people will just click on and go somewhere else.
Exactly, right? Like and it's gonna seem like, like your assistants are like on drugs, right? Like you say something and then she replies something and then right. Exactly. So with this level of human operators, we are able to maintain a very high level of accuracy, right? But even then, from time to time, there are certain responses that we may not feel comfortable enough to reply to. So when that happens, right, we do not attempt to reply at all, right? What happens is that this drops into what we call a human review bucket. So the marketing, administrator receives an email from the AI assistant saying, hey, I'm stuck. I need help, right?
Cool.
So they log in and they reply on behalf of the AI assistant. And over time, we will cluster these responses that we are not able...
machine learning.
Exactly, right? Then, we'll build out additional conversation notes that, is able to handle, these edge cases in the future.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
So I'm curious, like earlier you said that you guys were working with a client, right? Like, who's that client?
Well, I can't say it on camera. Actually, I can probably edit it later.
Oh, no way! Okay,
of course.
Cool.
Yeah. So they engaged us a few months ago to work with their team because they were getting probably like 40,000 inbound inquiries like every month.
Nice.
And it was just nice. But if you don't have the infrastructure to actually respond to these people quickly, and actually qualify them effectively and then hand them over to an SDR who can actually, or an account rep to go, great, now let's set up a discovery call or a demo or something like that. They just sit and you'll lose them all, right? Yeah. So that's where they started to engage you guys, because I remember I was chatting with them. So they were like, yeah, we're going to start with Sales Whale to kind of respond to these people fast. But then they engaged us to say, look, Tom, so once they've been handed over to let's get clear about what that qualification criteria is. How do we know when a lead can be passed on to a human sales rep? Yeah. And then what's some of the scripting that those reps can use to actually do a discovery call, learn a little bit more, and then take it to the next level? So that's quite exciting.
Yeah, it is. Small world. Yeah, it is. Small world.
So what types of companies, like who needs Sales Whale?
So the ideal profile for us would be any customer that has a well-running marketing engine that is generating more leads, than they have sales capacity, right, to adequately reach out, follow up, qualify, right, in a very systematic fashion, right? So these can range from like startups. We work with startups with like 60 employees, 100 employees, all the way to Fortune 500 companies, right? One of my favorite customers, Ronstadt Group, right?
Randstad.
Yeah, Randstad, right? They fantastic Sales Whale customer, right? We recently brought Cisco on board, right? So another Fortune 500 company, right? And a couple of the other companies that you mentioned earlier. So we have customers, in technology verticals, education, automotive, and hospitality. So
it's industry agnostic.
Industry agnostic.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we are also, working with companies that are just generating about 40 to 80 leads a week, right? And because they only have
still a lot. 40 to 80 leads a week. That's still a lot of leads.
40 to 80 top of the funnel leads.
Yeah. A lot. But then again, if you have a small sales team to respond to that, that can be very overwhelming for those people, especially if those reps are maybe, multi-level reps in the sense that they're also maybe doing some outbound as well.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And you're just talking about inbound, right? Let's say you have 80 leads a week, right? Majority of these leads may not reply, may not respond, right? They may not be ready right now. So what happens to them, right?
Shopping around, they want a brochure, they want a quote.
Exactly, right?
KIV.
Right? Right. So they go into this bucket called dormant leads, right? Like you generate all these leads and majority of them like go dormant. So like with Sales Whale, we have this automated workflow where we can re-engage these dormant leads, right? Put in the re-engagement campaign every 90 days, every 120 days, we touch base with them, check in with them, how things going, right?
Yeah, thanks for reaching out to us a few months ago. Just wanted to touch base, see how things are looking right now.
Absolutely. So there's one of the second order use cases of Sales Whale as well.
Very cool. How well does Sales Whale play with CRM programs?
So right now we have a tremendous integration with Salesforce. So SFDC, one click is a package, right? You click, it sets up all your fields, the workflow, right? And then you can customize, your ingestion rules, on Sales Whale. So we are really proud of that integration. But for all other CRMs, right, we have an open API. So basically, we can work with third-party providers, or we can work with your internal engineering teams to build like this middleware integration with your CRM and our API.
So it sounds like Sales Whale is a great fit for any team. Now you mentioned something about how does it work? Is it like one I don't want to say bot, but is it one AI assistant per rep, or how does that work?
No. So think of it as a BDR, a business development rep, right?
Okay,
so
it supports a number of people.
Yeah, it's centralized, right? It because it's an AI, right? It can support 300 sales reps, right? Wow. Without breaking a sweat.
Yes.
So marketing lead comes in, right? And then depending on certain workflows, right? A lead gets routed to this BDR, AI BDR, does the qualification, and if the lead, raises their hand and say that I want a demo, I want to jump on a sales call, then we round robin this lead to the different sales reps, or if this lead or account belongs to
for those of you that don't know the terminology, round robining, it's not even a word, but to round robin a lead is basically let's say you got 5 sales reps, 5 AEs on your team, and it will just randomly select, or you can determine, okay, we'll send 2 to this guy first and then 2 here, or you can set up some criteria. It basically means randomly assigning leads to a different rep. Okay, but you guys know that. You should know that.
So that's exactly how it works, right? And if the account...
You can pop in like the Calendly link in there or something as part of the response. They can just like one click and boom, schedule the demo.
Absolutely.
Cool. Very nice. Can we talk a little bit about like ROI, results, impact that it's had on companies, case studies? You know where I'm going.
Yeah, absolutely. So without naming names, we were working with
like I never said off limits, so we don't name names.
A global education provider, right? Thousands of employees worldwide. I think within the first 3 months of using SalesWheel, they saw a 1,400% ROI with the software, right?
So what does that mean? Okay, so I have so many questions.
Yeah,
I mean, to kind of break them down. So when we say like a 1,000% ROI, that is the return on the investment in SalesWheel.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right. Within the first 3 months.
Within the first 3 months.
First 3 months.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Okay. And this is not an anomaly, right? Like across all our customers, we see very similar kind of ROI, right? We are working with one of the leading automotive dealers in the region. Like I said, can't name names again, right? The last campaign that we ran for them, sales that were directly attributed to SalesWheel, right? Just for a single campaign that they ran, we actually helped them sold 71 cars.
Wow. Okay.
That's insane. That blew my mind when I saw the statistics.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So when you say a campaign, so how does the licensing work? I mean, so I hear campaign. Is it on a project by project basis? Is it like a 1 year annual license? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so we go by annual licenses, right? And you can run unlimited campaigns, right? You can have as many campaigns as you want.
Okay.
So, our annual licenses, the pricing differs, but in general, is roughly in the ballpark of $20,000 a year and upwards.
Okay, so $20,000 a year and upwards for unlimited campaigns, back and forth, the whole thing?
Yeah. So there are certain tiering.
Pretty much.
Right? Tiering, usage-based tiering.
Fine print.
Yeah, fine print.
Okay. But basically around that.
Yeah, around that.
Unlimited type campaigns.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's really amazing, right? Like, because what's the cost of a BDR in San Francisco right now? Like, $80,000, $75,000 a year, right? And how much work can a single BDR do, right? What's the coverage? How many AEs can he serve? How many leads can we reach out to, right? So for less than a quarter of the cost of a fully loaded BDR.
Yeah, one BDR could probably handle, depending on the inbound, could probably service maybe, 4 or 5 sales reps.
Yeah.
Right? So, how do you scale that?
Yeah.
Oh, we know how you scale that. Sales women can help you scale that. Okay. Yeah. That's very cool. And they don't get tired.
Right? They are able to
complain.
They don't complain, right?
They'll be in an overtime mode. What is it? Workaholic mode.
Workaholic mode, working 24/7.
For some of those folks out there that are like, afraid of AI, they're afraid of technology, or they get on this thing like it's gonna take away our jobs. What do you say to that?
So the way we think about it is that what SalesWheel is doing, it's the kind of work that humans do not want to do anyways, and people do not necessarily enjoy doing. Like, do you enjoy logging in?
They don't do it well.
Oh yeah, and they don't do it well, right? You want to sit in front of a computer all day long, sending the 8 follow-up email to this inbound lead that just reached out like 3 months ago, right? Like it is mind-numbing work, right? And one thing that we realize is that, we, instead of putting BDRs or SDRs on a job, right, we are able to kind of, help them focus on the stuff that that only humans can do well, right? The human connection, chatting with customers who are really
let me talk you through this.
Right? So I see it more
like something. Maybe you come with some specs or an idea, but through our conversation, we discovered that there's maybe something else that we can do for you.
Right? And are robots putting doctors out of the job? No.
Right. So they're not putting them out of business. But my take on this is we need technology to help us. Right, we need it to help us. It makes our lives easier. It helps the sales process when the qualification process is done, fast and efficiently. And that's a great thing. People should embrace this, right?
Thanks. Yeah,
very cool, man.
We think it's
awesome. Thank you, man. This has been so eye-opening, and this is the type of product that all sales reps and all companies really need to optimize their qualification process and their appointment scheduling process, and basically to be responsive to customers. Thank you very much, Gabriel.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Cool. Take care. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.